Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at the Anthology comic Big Planet Comics. This is from Neon, it looks like, is the company. And it's just a spread of like young artists getting together, it looks like, and putting out their work. They're all about 4 pages, I think. So I'll just give a view of pretty much each artist in here, what they're doing. Super cute little piece here, very like Animal Crossing type of vibes with this little cute fox creature cooking dinner. This is by Shan Horen. I really enjoyed this part here with the like how-to aspect. One of the things that I really enjoyed about this anthology is that there's a good variety, so you can see immediately in the next story we're moving from something like very cutesy to something much more intense, something a little bit more mainstream in approach with the line art and the computer coloring, things like that. This is by Kendall Goode, Hit and Run Red. Basically, this guy stabs another dude with a broken baseball bat. The one thing with this is that because all the stories are so short, I don't think any one of the stories really impacted me a lot. A lot of them seemed like this one seemed to be part of something bigger, maybe the Hit and Run Red by Kendall Goode. It just seems like each one of these stories could be part of a larger storyline. So this is a good thing to take this, look at it, and then see what these artists are up to on Instagram, the ones that interest you. Robin Ha, Tostones con Queso. Again, a really cute like little one based around cooking. I really like the physical media on this one. There's a lot of like color pencil and watercolor, things like that. This beautiful little watercolor flower here, even the watercolor paper texture showing through, I really like all of that. Firebelly by Austin Breed. This is another one. It looks like it has a lot of physical media, but maybe some computer coloring on top of it. This one looks like it could be mixed in kind of an interesting way. Again, like the kind of cute, whimsical, fantastical, but a little bit darker to it. Again, or kind of something I think is really interesting, just the art style that Austin Breed is using here. It's just showing like the variety of ways that comics are going lately. I think that's a beautiful thing. It also scares me because there's just too much good stuff for the audience to support, unfortunately. This is by Daniel Callis, Bad Hair Day. I really kind of like the abstract nature of this one and the over-the-top coloring. One of the things when I was going and looking up some of these artists is a lot of them seem to be illustrators first, and comics just seem to be like a side dabble for them, which is too bad because some of these are pretty interesting. But Daniel Callis was definitely somebody that when you go to their Instagram page, it's just mostly illustration, which is always kind of a bummer for me on anthologies when I really like something an artist is doing and I got to see more of their comics. They don't have more, but hopefully these people will be doing more. This here is Chris Artiga-Oliver, Dying of Thirst. Again, something that, like, it's a closed little loop of a story, but also feels like it could be part of a bigger world. A lot of these feel like the author knows a lot more than I do, and this was definitely one of them. But I like that this is, like, really cram-packed with visual information. There's a lot of panels and stuff to communicate as much as possible in a quick time. Really enjoyed the calligraphic art on this, the very like iconic cartooning kind of mixed with calligraphy in this piece. Walking by Mark Burrier. Really enjoy the way the figure looks and the abstraction all the way throughout. Again, really enjoying physical media making a comeback, it seems like, in a lot of these. So that's really heartening. But I think Mark Burrier was another person that when I went and looked up, was mostly focused on illustration rather than comics. This piece, The Painted Branch, is by Kyle PGKEKE Young. It's kind of like a wild, over-the-top one. This one, some of the coloring stuff is definitely not my thing with the gradients and whatnot. I think art like this could be served, like better served in these panels where it's flat colors. But I do think some of the strange color interactions could be cool, minus the gradient. Andy K's Dungeon Slammers. This is another one I would definitely like to see more of. It seems like it's from a much larger world, a much more fully realized world. And again, it looks like it's all physical media all throughout. maybe even to the point of being like ink on top of a gouache paint. Some of this almost looks gouache to me. So really, really dig the cartoony vibe of this. And just seeing people really developing their own singular styles, I feel like I'm seeing more and more and more of that, and that the media they use is part of their style. That's something I feel like we've missed from comics, or I miss when I look at something like 2000 AD or heavy metal, things like that, where the kind of industry standard computer coloring look has taken back over. These type of things where people really have non-standard looks is really, really appealing to me. This is definitely a self-contained little story, Vacant by Nick K. Liappis, I believe is how you say the last name. It's a little like gay romance werewolf story. See the creepy werewolf. Joey Burke did this one. This is the Sentinel of Order. Joey Burke also goes by Labrys Inc. Just some really cool like cosmic stuff. This feels very Michael Moorcock. Like I've been reading some of the Michael Moorcock comics from like the 80s, the Charles Vess and Michael Gilbert stuff. This kind of has that vibe to it. But there's like this weird poem going along it. This is again more like a series of illustrations with dialogue than a comic. Really excited to see a Liz Suburbia piece in here. I read a Liz Suburbia book that I got last year from Fantagraphics. Really, really enjoyed that book and haven't seen anything else by Liz Suburbia. Really enjoy this little strip called 2008. Also really enjoy seeing Liz Suburbia work with color. That was something that wasn't in the Fantagraphics book that I read. So this was really cool, and somebody that I hope to see more comics from soon. A like nice big finished graphic novel in color would be sick. So always excited about Liz Suburbia stuff. Super cute little cartoon here called Swords by John McNamee, I believe is how the last name said, and you just have this cute little Christian crusader character running around with a sword, chopping up bad guys, and then eventually getting chopped up themselves, and then the reeds blowing. A lot of really good, simple cartooning in here. This is the type of stuff that I would love, I love to show to my students who are like, oh, I can only draw stick figures, blah, blah, blah. It's like, look, you don't need to be good at drawing to make a good comic. You may need to be good at drawing to make an appealing drawing, but if you make it into a comic, you can have some pretty rudimentary stick figures and really communicate clearly and get the idea across, as long as you can kind of compose as well a little bit. So stuff like this is really cool. I love showing this to students who are not artists, but they're in an art class of mine. The book ends with a longer piece called To Die, to Wake. This is by Keven, Panetta, and Paulina Ganucheau, I believe is Ganucheau? I don't know. Apologies, Paulina, for butchering your last name. This is more of like what I call the Boom Studio style, where it's like this mix of Disney and American comics and manga a little bit. This one also seems like part of a much larger Magic Girls type of story, where you have these Victorian gals, but she's got like this magic bow and arrow here. They all seem like witches or sorcerers of some sort. This one definitely seems like one of the ones that's more likely to be its own ongoing series, but just vibes wise, like not the type of thing I'm so interested in. But very, very well professionally done, I should say. And at the end here, there's a ad for Big Planet Comics by Coleman Engle that's also kind of a comic, and it's really cluster aesthetic, hard to look at, but once my eyes adjust to reading all the pieces in it, I actually kind of like the look of all of this, almost looking like one big page of stickers, but then it becomes individual panels. So I enjoy this as an ad, even though it's not part of the book proper. So cool book, a lot of cool artists in here to follow up on, and projects, like I said, that seem like they're from something bigger that I would like to see what that bigger thing is. So if you haven't seen this yet, $6, Big Planet Comics, really cool anthology. Go get yourself a copy.